Welcome to another episode of The Engineer. This is the Abundance Mandate, and I have a question for you. What do you know about AI and robotics? More importantly, what kind of effect do you think these technologies will have on our future? I mean the future of work. If you're not worried about this, you should be. This series will open your eyes as to what's coming and suggest a practical way forward. I'm the engineer. I'm just a keen observer of the world with a drive to figure things out. I've been around for a while, and I've seen a lot in my life. At the age of 16, I was 20 feet away when Martin Luther King was thrown into the back of a police car in Birmingham, Alabama in 1962. In my career, I was an engineer, an entrepreneur, a CEO, and eventually Chief Technology Officer of a public electronics company manufacturing electronics. I traveled the world with nearly monthly trips to China for 10 years. I'm not running for office. I'm not selling a book, and I don't need social media notoriety. I'm here because I've been tracking AI and robotics and analyzing America's economic future, and I'm passionately concerned for our grandchildren. Let me be clear. This is not politics. It's not Republican or Democrat, left or right. It's about math and about our social contract with citizens. Both sides miss the mark. The right says people need to work harder, and the left says we just need to tax the billionaires more. They're trying to fix a 20th century economy that doesn't exist anymore. For most of modern history, if you had a strong back and a willingness to work, you had a place. You could farm, you could work in a factory or an office, a school, or drive a truck. When we talk about the history and future of work, let's start with a key reality. Human cognitive ability. This follows a normal distribution. The average IQ in the United States is 100, with a standard deviation of 15. To put that in perspective, an IQ of 140 is typically considered genius level. Estimates for Albert Einstein or Elon Musk are about 160. Many of the architects of our modern technology, engineers, designers, and founders, they fall into the 125 to 135 range. But now let's look at the other side of the curve. Did you know roughly 16% of Americans, that's about 50 to 55 million people, have an IQ of 85 or below? Now I think it's really important to be clear about what this does not mean. This is not a measure of character or human value. IQ is not destiny, and it's not a moral ranking of people. It's simply a rough proxy for how easily individuals can adapt to increasingly abstract, intellectually challenging work. IQ is influenced by both biology and environment. Genetics, education, nutrition, early experiences, they all contribute. And while hard work and training can improve skills, there are natural limits. As a society, we've always depended on a wide range of cognitive strengths: reliability, judgment, craftsmanship, empathy, and experience, not just abstract thinking. For most of American history, lower cognitive ranges were not a barrier to full economic participation. And there's no shame in where anybody falls on the curve. It's just a fact of human diversity. As a society, we have an obligation to ensure that everybody has an opportunity for a dignified life, regardless of their cognitive starting point. But before we talk about the future of work, let's start with a little history. Phase 1, the industrial economy, the 1950s to 1970s. In these years, the U.S. economy revolved around manufacturing, clerical work, routine professional roles, and agriculture. If your IQ was between 80 and 90, you could thrive in factory floor work, supervising lines, HR, accounting, finance or purchasing, clerical or administrative roles, teaching or assisting in schools, mechanical, procedural jobs, and farming. These required reliability, discipline, and basic problem solving, not advanced abstract reasoning. Additionally, manufacturing supported entire ecosystems of jobs. The ladder was wide and most people could stand on it. Then came globalization and the hollowing out, the 1990s to the 2000s. During the 1990s and the early 2000s, American manufacturing didn't just shrink, it relocated. Whole factories moved overseas, primarily to Mexico and China. And when factories moved, entire employment ecosystems moved with them. It wasn't just manufacturing or production jobs that disappeared. We also lost plant managers and controllers, supervisors and middle management, human resource departments, accounting and finance teams, purchasing and logistics, quality assurance, engineering support, even some of the sales and marketing teams. In some cases, entire companies, not just plants, moved overseas. These jobs had provided stable, middle-class livelihoods to people across a wide cognitive range, particularly in the middle and lower middle bands of the distribution. When those ecosystems vanished, communities collapsed, and the economy didn't replace those jobs at the same scale. We told people to retrain and relocate, but we never rebuilt the latter or helped them get trained or relocated. Now let's discuss the future of work. We're entering the age of AI and robotics. This phase is different. AI automates routine cognitive work, while robotics automates routine physical work. Together, they replace both the hands and the head simultaneously. By now, 2025, the minimum cognitive requirement to remain productive in many roles, navigating software systems, automated workflows, compliance tools, and AI-assisted decision platforms, has already risen to around 95 to 100. In 2030, AI and robotics could handle tasks roughly equivalent to what today requires an IQ of around 110. Analysis, coordination, diagnostics, planning, even execution. The latter doesn't just narrow, it rises. But here's where the story gets more complicated and confusing. AI and robotics are also creating new jobs. We're building massive AI data centers, power infrastructure, and robot factories all over the country. They'll need skilled trades like welders, electricians, pipe fitters, HVAC specialists, robotics installers, and heavy equipment operators. As of 2025, reports show that hundreds of thousands to over 1 million unfilled skilled trade positions nationwide, with millions more needed this decade. These pay well and resemble the middle-class jobs lost to globalization. It looks like an industrial revival. Many will say we worried for nothing. But these jobs are largely temporary. The building phase, not the run phase. Like the 1950s and 60s interstate highway system, millions work building it, but maintenance needs only a fraction. So data centers exemplify this. Construction employs thousands per project, but operations often only need dozens, highly automated with remote monitoring. The boom is going to help millions short term, but it doesn't solve the long-term structural mismatch. But there is one more piece to the puzzle. Where does this productivity value go? We've entered what some call the age of extraction, not from greed, but from systematic incentives. As an example, Apple has repurchased over $700 billion in stock over the past decade, while holding massive cash reserves. This rewards scale and ownership, not broad employment. So platform companies grow enormously with few additional workers. Profit concentrates upward into stock prices, executive pay, equity ownership. GDP rises, productivity soars, but fewer people participate in the upside. Billionaire wealth explodes because ownership replaces labor as the primary income source. It's not trickle down anymore, it's trickle up. This isn't cyclical, it's structural. We're facing cumulative shocks. Globalization removed job ecosystems. AI and robotics is automating routine labor and thinking, and extraction is concentrating economic gains. Taken together, they create a growing group of non-participating Americans, not lazy or unmotivated, but structurally mismatched. not sharing in abundance. The problem isn't just jobs or education. Technology is advancing faster than humans can adapt. But let's get one thing clear. We must protect America's entrepreneurial edge, the engine which attracts global talent. We need to preserve the shiny city on the hill environment where anybody can make it America is the catchphrase. Don't overtax innovation. Without it, we get no growth or abundance. We can't stop AI or ban robots. Confiscating wealth kills the golden goose. We need a new distribution system, fair, sustainable, preserving incentives. So where does that leave us? Well, we're not facing a temporary downturn, and we're not facing a simple skills gap, and we're not facing a failure of effort or character. We're facing a structural transition, one where technology is reshaping how value is created, how work is organized, and how economic gains are distributed. In a world where machines increasingly perform both routine labor and routine thinking, the old system, where wages alone carried most people forward, it no longer works. Now that doesn't mean we fear progress, and it doesn't mean we punish success. It means a new way to ensure that abundance flows to everyone, not just to ownership and scale. So there are two ideas that I want to discuss as we go forward. The first one is universal basic services. That's a foundation that guarantees access to essential needs like healthcare, housing support, food, connectivity, and childcare. The second idea is called universal basic equity, which is essentially like a sovereign wealth fund. It's real ownership for every American in the productivity of AI, automation, and advanced technology, not handouts, ownership. That's the conversation we'll begin in the next episode, because the future isn't something we can stop, but it is something we can design. See you next time.